Be there. John will be there. If you want to know roughly where your hotel is, here's the campus of McGill University right there. Your hotel is literally right behind this line here. If you go on this side, you can see where your hotel is. This thing hides the view for you right now. What we did when we left your hotel, we went up, we went behind the Montreal General, there's that big building right there. We went up to St. Joseph's on the other side of the hill. We came back down the track. We went through the hillside of Montreal to the lookout. We had a beautiful view of the fall. There's one on both sides, and I got two hands, so this way everybody can see what's happening. Not bad, eh? As you're coming this way, don't be sure you'll see in Canada on most of the prime real estate. We have here to eat this building.
Viens vraiment. Tu veux faire photographier, mais peut-être quand même.
Ah oui, ah ouais. En fait, ils sont vachement de la nature, quand tu regardes.
Ne cache pas. Ah, pakitik ako. Yan, pakitik nila. Ano ito? You didn't know. Didn't know. Ja, dat is not.
La famille Gordon.
T'as-tu vu tout à l'heure un 14 décembre, madame?
Oui.
Oui.
Ah oui, il reste une sacoche de trois.
Ah, tu vrai?
Ah oui.
Il y a des choses. Ça monte, là. Il y en avait quatre. Il y en avait quatre, dans le fond.
Ah, comment t'appelles ça? C'est...
Qui a attrapé les poissons? OK, on les a laissés dans le bassin. C'est juste qu'on a baissé le niveau de l'eau jusqu'en bas de la ville.
Ah, ça ressemble à l'ordi, là.
Ça, il était passant.
Douze, hein?
Houses with pitched roofs down there.
I'm afraid it's too late now. He said they were having something special in the Chinese garden. It was all hung out with lanterns. After that, it just becomes like somebody reading a bedtime story. Basically, it works.
out the pub, I think. But no one got a bad deal. Is everyone all right, basically? Good. That's a relief. Because I don't want you coming on the bus in the morning all grumpy and fed up with everything. Anyway, it's a lovely morning. So then we might even persuade Piper to open his mouth, but that is a rare and special occurrence if he does that.
Two airphones in there, so it's just the back's completely closed.
There will now be quite a difference in style when you're doing. The Wilson's Brewery that we just passed over there on the right is on what they call the Parc des Îles. There's a series, actually it's all built on little islands there before you get to the main shore of Montreal. And not all of them, but most of them will be timber frame with brick or stone facing. Yeah, I love this street. Even got a McDonald's, but they can't change the architecture or something right. Otherwise known here as the American Embassy. Right here. And this is the drill hall of the Vendus, as they know, Vendu. Vendus is the 22nd Canadian Regiment.
Years ago, they were digging up outside that wall and they found a lot of skeletons. And they were wondering why there was so many skeletons outside the city wall. Well, if they would have been reading their French history, they would have known that if you go back to the 17th, 18th, and 19th, beginning of the 19th century, if you're not Catholic, you're not allowed to be buried inside the city walls. In other words, they would have kicked me out. Because I'm a Miller St. Tafter. A Miller St. Tafter in the city here, you're Scottish descent. If you're a Tefner, you're English descent. So, and as we enter, you see the Battlefields Park was actually built back in the year 1908. It was built to celebrate the 300th anniversary of the city of Quebec. There's 252 acres to this park. and it is a federal park. It belongs to Canada, not the province of Quebec. And behind these walls here, there's a fort, there's a citadel. It's called a citadel, and it was built by the British military between the years 1820 and 1832. And the British built that Lord Grey area, because Lord Grey was the Governor General of Canada back in 1907, and he had a lot of wording to put in to inaugurate the park. So to thank Lord Grey, we call this area Lord Grey area. You know, it's because it's still an active base. And they're the ones that'll be, the Royal 22nd is the regiment that'll be going to Afghanistan there in the month of November, I believe. Well, we lost 4 more there. In 1759, it was a Jesuit college situated here. And what happened is that when the British took over the colony, General Murray, who had replaced General Wolfe, because he died the day of the battle, put his army personnel into the school. So that was the end of the college.
He's living in this building. Today it's a museum. So you can enter through the front part, visit the inside of an old house that was built here back in the middle of the 18th century. And what they have in exposition inside is all the old furniture that was produced here back in the 17th and 18th century. You can see we still have wood roofs in this area. See this one up here, the red one over there, and this is in wood.
First generation houses were all in wood. If you go back to the year 1682, there was a major fire in this area, and 50 houses out of 70 burned. So the French council passed a law stating that the second generation houses was all in rock. Less wood always following, that was the boys. An old gallery down below, that's where the Sister of Charity was. And I can tell you when she was there, the boys were on one side and the girls were on the other. If you think the teachers are rough today, you should have went through school with the Sisters of Charity. Let's see what rough means. But there's one thing, they were excellent as teachers.
And the street here, we call it beneath the Fort Street. And we call it beneath the Fort Street because when Champlain arrived here in 1608, he built this residence right there to my left. In other words, where he built the first residence, there is a go back to the 17th and 18th century. What did they paint the roofs with back then to get them red light? Oxford. The hulls of the old sail ships were also dyed with Oxford. It was the best thing to protect them from water. And the people always tell me, it must have been pretty smelly here. Everything was smelly. So it's one for the English, one for the Irish, one for the Scottish. That's the four.
Yeah, no way.
So what we've done is we put the test cloud at the bottom of the painting. And the person in green down below, he represents Champlain, the person who built the first residence in 1608. The person in brown coming down the stairs, Louis Joliet, the person who discovered the northern sector of the Mississippi. Up above is Jacques Cartier, the first French explorer. If you go back to 1535. Down below is General Frontenac. He defeated how can I say that? The first Governor General of New France. If you go back to 1642. You got hockey players, of course. You're in the city of, you're in Quebec, Canada. You're in Quebec, so you're bound to have lovers there in a while. And you're in Quebec, so of course they're bringing down the barrel of wine there. And if you look at the painting itself, from down below to up above, you got the 4 seasons of the year. Used to use wine, but it never finishes But the importance of this street, you got to go back to 1832. When the Irish and Scottish were accepted into Canada, a lot of them came to live on this little street, or in my Scottish area where I live. That's where Mr. and Mrs. Ruel used to live, with 5 sons and 5 daughters, 12, just on the first floor. I can still see 2 little bedrooms at the end, a little square kitchen to your left. It's where he became in charge of all the Canadian customs over an hour. The second floor was Mr. Howard. The third floor up above where the gallery is, that's where Mr. Hewitt used to live. And I can still see
Wolf, they were Scottish descent, so Presbyterian, so that's where they wanted their own little church. So that.
Good shot for our friend Chris, Geomania, Gems and Minerals.
had. I think that was yeah, I think it was I think the moment of it was like that. Yeah.
This ladies and men should suggest we're all learning the hard way.
This is actually, they spent all this money building this city hall to look nice, and then they abandoned it about a year ago. And I've driven through here a couple times, and I've had tour guides tell me that this, and I don't know if this is true or not because I've never been to London, they said this building is reminiscent of a piece of a building in London.
No.
A piece of Buckingham Palace, they tell me. Don't know, never seen it. Don't think so?
No.
Okay, I'll tuck that one back in my pocket. Anyways, this is the National Research Council. This is where we research just about everything that's done here. You'll see the library portion at the back of the Parliament buildings coming up. Notre Dame Cathedral on the left here. With the, put out here not too long ago. It just appeared one day, this big spider. Anyways, Ottawa is a beautiful city, very clean, very safe. You probably at the end of your trip, it's like everything else, you just get a touch of things. Eh? You're only going to have a little bit of time here in Ottawa, and you'll probably say, gee, it would have been nice if we could spend some more time here. Reconciliation. Yeah, great monument. There's a woman in the front. Now this building on the left, okay. So, a huge battleship. We don't think it fits in at all. We don't like it, but it's here. Your lunch down here is the market. So we're going to take you down to the market. You're going to be able to have your lunch, and it's easy to walk back up the steps to this area if you want to, because we only give you a certain amount of time for lunch. You can grab a sandwich at the deli or something like that, spend your time looking around, and then just bring it back to the bus and eat it when we leave town. So. And here we are at our Parliament buildings. Our federal Parliament buildings, 1967.
Quick photo stop.
Court of Canada. No, hasn't affected the decisions at all.
By the time it's taken.
And all this in front of us is all kind of parkland along the river's edge for it stretches about forward side. Bunker or something. So down here with the logging crews with the big floats of logs, and they'd have to dismantle them, portage around the falls, and then put them back in the Ottawa River.
That's why he was looking so tired.
They tell me.
You asked me for a
Yeah.
volunteer. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, the tower gives you the best view. There's an awful lot of steps up there. It's an awful lot of steps. Look at it.
We're just going to go down the escalators here to the bottom and have a look at the underground, and then we're going to come back out.
What's that mean by that?
Other delights.
Should look better in the daylight. No sleep today. Your mum declined her. I talked her into it, and then John talked her out of it again. Yeah, if you didn't have gone on about the wobbling, it would have been a bit better. Or swaying, or whatever it was.
Is there a video recording? Am I gonna?
It takes 58 seconds to reach the lookout level. Once we're there, we'll be at 1,136 feet, 346 meters, or 114 building stories. The glass floor will be one level below where I'm taking you. Take any stairwell down, and you are ready to come back down. Alright, so the tower stands at 553 meters, 1,815 feet, or 181 stories. It is the world's tallest building and freestanding structure.
Are you alright? Royal Suites.
Originally for telecommunications, but when they decided to make it a tourist.
Something all at once, right? Just in the designing plans, we're like, might as well make it this.
May as well.
It's not real, is it? That's the thing. You can't feel it. It's always this, no, it's normal.
No, I never take it out. Normal program. Unless they catch me.
Yes. Oh, there's the old spaghetti factory. So.
Venuta una vacanza flash adesso. Automatico, no, non me l'ha dato. Automatico, perché lo devi mettere con automatico, per forza. Però deve essere troppo vicino.
Sì?
Aspetta, li metto io. Vedo il
Attends, donne-moi la main. Donne-moi la main. Je vais traverser. Voilà. Ah oui, d'accord, oui, ça va. Ça va? Ouais, ça va. Ça va, ça va.
Je prends en photo là-dessus? Hey, she's done it!
Non può fare
Ça fait quelque chose? Cache les Est-ce qu'on va visiter?
Welcome back. We have a new encore.
Yes, I'm enjoying.
We're going down now. We're going down now at the same speed as an open military parachute right now. Yeah.
Free fall.
So we have a much safer landing, of course.
Has anyone ever jumped off? With a parachute?
With a parasail, not a parachute. Like the jumping with the big glider on the back.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Officially or unofficially?
Officially. And did anyone go on that glass floor today?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Did you know it can hold up to 14 large hippos or 20,000 squirrels?
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, I know. Don't know how they put them up there. But it's very safe though, even though the glass is only 2.5 inches thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually tell you that fact afterwards.
Yeah.
My name's Ashley. Any questions here? Comments, jokes?
No.
Can move. Yeah.
Parkland, all the theaters, restaurants, recreation, everything's right here at your fingertips in the city of Toronto. So, you know, they're getting tired of cutting the grass and commuting back and forth, so the style is to buy a condominium in downtown Toronto. This one on the right, when it opened up 2 years ago, the condos were selling for 169,000 Canadian dollars.
That's cheap.
That's cheap. I don't think you can buy a flat in London for that. So right in front of us here, this is a monument to the Chinese workers that built the railroad across Canada. This end of the Sky Dome on the left here is a hotel. Now it has about 80 rooms that overlook the field, and they're floor-to-ceiling glass. Very clean, very efficient. Toronto was one of the few cities that did not get rid of their streetcars. I'm tuckered out. That was a lot of work. Okay, so we're on King Street, and we're back into the entertainment district here, and you'll see some of the restaurants to support the local theaters coming up here. So you have all these different you know, kind of funky restaurants here. The Red Tomato, Fred's Not Here, neat restaurant. One of the problems they had with it, they found out the gold flake's very reflective, so it really reduced the heating costs in the building. But the bank across the street here, after they built it, took them to court and said the sun was reflecting off the building, and as the real estate's undervalued, he wants to build these $1 million downtown shopping complex. There's about 380 stores, 5 different levels in this Eaton Centre here. To the federal Parliament buildings in Ottawa, this is our provincial Parliament buildings. This is called, quite affectionately, Queen's Park, because it's in Queen's Park on the university grounds. So when something goes on down here, we just say Queen's Park. That's our provincial, Ontario Provincial Legislative Assembly building. This is kind of interesting, this piece of artwork here. I love this. See the cat on the chair on the pole there. Home again, which to us means absolutely nothing. And we were on a tour one day, and this is a true story, and somebody from the back popped up and said, "Come on, isn't it obvious? Chairman meow." Not mine, I just thought I'd use it someday. These people have lived here for 30, 40 years, and they never venture outside the area, and they speak Chinese, so they don't know English. But it's funny, when you come to the corner, to the banks and stuff like that, everything, all the writing is in Chinese on the corners of the banks and the stores, but you see all the bright signs and all the bright colors, the reds, the golds. When the immigrants come over here to build the Chinese railroad, and a lot of them stayed, back then only the dynasty could use these colors. These were royal colors, and as they come to Canada, they realized they had the freedom to use these. So all these signs in Chinatown you see with the golds and the reds and stuff like that, they all use these as signs of prosperity, good luck, good fortune. Actually, because I'm a country boy, I live an hour and a half north of the city. But I do come down here for the theaters and sports events and things like that. So as far as city goes, it's a great place. It's a good place to live.
I want to welcome everybody aboard the Oriole today. And before we start though, I do have a few quick announcements to attend to. Number one, we do have washrooms located on board. They're all on the main deck at the port side or the left side of the ship, just down the stairs. And we also do have a bar on board. Lynn is our fabulous bartender today, and I would be more than happy to assist you with your refreshment necessities. And also to let you know, for your safety, we do in fact have life jackets located on board, and they are all located on the main deck at the bow of the boat, underneath the bench seating as well as the buffet table. So just in case of an emergency, you will know where they are. I can assure you though that even if this boat did happen to sink though, all we would have to do is run up to the top and we'd all stay perfectly dry. And that is because majority of the harbor water here is only between 15 to 25 feet deep. So we just stay up here and we would be A-okay. As well though, we are under excellent hands today. Our captains today are Captain Duncan and Captain Dave. Excellent captains, certainly know what they're doing. So I think we can sit back, relax, to help you in any way we can. So to begin, I want to direct everyone's attention over to the starboard side, or the right-hand side of the boat. And we are coming upon, quickly approaching, a stage with a white scaffolding rooftop. It's right by all those willow trees there. And this because every single weekend throughout the summer season, this provides free live music performances. There's tons of festivals that are held here, and a lot of world music actually do. Bands come here from all around the world and play, so it's a really cool place to check out. There's also an international market that's open there in the summer, so you can try foods from all over the world as well. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but that stage is angled at a 45 degrees. And this was done on purpose in order to allow the sound to travel over the water, which lets us boaters enjoy the music as well. And coming up very quickly on the starboard side, all better be under very best behavior because we are coming upon the Metro Marine Unit. It's police of the waters here. This is actually one of the largest marine units here in Canada. And that is because this harbor, although you can't really tell at the moment, is one of the most heavily trafficked harbors in all of Canada. This unit does have 10 speedboats that can make it anywhere. That was named after the first mayor here in Toronto. And he was said to be a fiery Scot. Apparently he liked to work for, he was a big advocate for poverty and stuff like that, and working for it. So he's a very fiery man. So it is very fitting that they would name a fire and rescue boat after him. Now Ted Rogers from Rogers Telecommunications recently bought it out, and he only ended up paying $30 million for it. So he made a very good deal on that, that's for sure. But when the Skydome was first opened, it was the first stadium of its kind to have a retractable rooftop. So that roof, it takes only 20 minutes for it to open or close in the entire world. It is called the Jumbotron, the first largest one being in Japan. And there is also a hotel in there. It's called the Renaissance Hotel. 70 of the rooms of which do look over the